Talks. My name is Tex. Today I wanted to cover a concept that I have touched briefly on before and I want to go into again. It's being able to capture some of the ideas of where does my anger come from? And I was talking to somebody and several things have come up. And things that I've talked about before, but I'm going to bring up again. One of them is the primary versus secondary emotions. And the part I want to touch on today is when people tell me they're angry, I always ask, what emotion are you angry from? And they kind of stop in their tracks for a moment and go, well, what do you mean? No, I'm angry because this thing happened. I'm angry because of this situation, this thing that was done. And I'm like, was your primary emotion, the thing that came out first in you, embarrassment or frustration or irritation or something like that? If that's the case, then your anger is coming from that. Give you an example. If you're walking somewhere and some people see you trip and fall and you're embarrassed, with the embarrassment then comes the anger because, oh, I'm angry that they're laughing at me. You're embarrassed that they're laughing at you, and you are letting that drift into the anger because you can take embarrassment a lot of directions. You can laugh it off. You can make a joke out of it. You can, like, oh no, I meant to do that. You can just take it as something comical that happened. And if you was on the other end and looking at it, you might laugh too. Is it that important that you be angry over it? That defensiveness that comes in when someone tells you you're wrong. When you hear that, your initial reaction may be this feeling of irritation or being treated unjustly or, being labeled or named or all these things that come up. And in the end, it comes down to this anger rooting from those feelings that when someone tells you you're wrong, you may feel in that moment they're trying to tell you or that you're being labeled or that you are inferior. And that is upsetting. I totally get it. You might also have some other previous memory. See, many of these things that bring up the anger have to do with previous situations in memory that you have strung together so that when someone tells you you're wrong, it links to the same feeling of shame, irritation, whatever that comes from some earlier time when you were told you were wrong. You bring all that fury from the last time into this time. And so even though this may be a minor event, that big event gets pushed right into it, and then you react with the same potency that you did when you originally had that situation pop up. So your anger may not even come from this person telling you you're stupid. It may have to do with being told before, or it may even have to do with your own feelings that that you strive hard to be better, but deep down somewhere there are times when you feel upset, feel inferior, and that comes out. Totally possible. It could just be that thing about feeling people are controlling you that come from earlier, and feeling like you don't have control becomes fear, and fear becomes anger. So see how all these other emotions wrap into this. Once you're able to start doing that, then even if it doesn't happen in the situation, you can go back later and analyze the situation and say, okay, now I see where that's coming from. Now I can see how that's tied to other things. And the anger level that I felt to this situation may have not have been appropriate to the situation. Maybe the anger level would have been down here if I fully understood what was going on instead of me ruminating it up to here. That allows you then to change things and go, okay, when these things happen, I can start imagining how I would react better. This is something I encourage you to do with situations in which you've done something that you wished you wouldn't have done or that you feel you could have done better or you wanted different results. I encourage you to then, in your mind, practice a better solution. Practice laughing it off. Because I guarantee you, you've ruminated on all the things you can do. It is highly possible that you fell, someone laughed at you, and in your mind, you went to the trouble of imagining not only the humiliation and anger of falling, them laughing, then you went through and imagined this long series of horrible torture things you would do to this individual for laughing at you with detail, getting back at people, getting revenge. You imagine all those things. So why not instead imagine handling it different? Imagine shaking it off. Imagine laughing it off. In other words, in your mind, practice the things you would rather have done with a better outcome. Not the vengeful things, not the fantasies of getting back, but the realities of being able to go, it happens and it's cool, and I handled it and I laughed and I thought it was okay. Being able to calmly sit down and do these things allows you to then ruminate on what you want to ruminate, a better experience, a better outcome. The other thing you can do is then also realize that when you're starting to get into these situations where your temper is rising, you need to cool it down. Just because you feel in the moment this righteous anger, you don't have to react to it. In fact, if you can feel the heat coming up, then stopping it then and going, you know what, I need to go take a break. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go get a cup of tea or coffee. I need to go for a walk. And breaking off, allowing yourself time to cool down before you say things and react. Those are very important in allowing you then to reduce your anger level and then handle the situation better. Because remember, as your emotions go up, your rational thinking goes down. The angrier you get, the less likely you are to calmly be able to say, this isn't worth it. Many times when you get angry and you lose your temper, you pay a price that you didn't intend to pay. Sometimes we think this revenge is great. We're going to get back at people. And when you do it in the moment, then you're overreacting. Your anger level is because of some previous situation. Your reaction is not equivalent to the current. So you do overreact. Even when you're justified and you react what you think is just the right amount and you get the immediate results you want, do you want the long term? In other words, if it means getting in a situation where you lose a friend, do you really want to lose the friend over something like this? Now, I've had people sit here and tell me, well, if they're going to not be my friend over this, then they never were my friend to begin with. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they're having just as much a problem dealing with their anger as you. So by being the example of how to calm down and not fight over something might be the thing that they need so that they can go, wow, I can trust you. You're a friend. And they might even come back to you and go, you know what? Neither one of us are perfectly right here. We both made a mistake, and I'm sorry too. I apologize too. I want to work through this too. By being able to do that, you're going to have better relationships. And isn't that what you really want? More or better friends, better relationships with loved ones in your life. So I always ask people, is that what you want on your tombstone? Instead, I was right, and I made them all admit it. Yeah, it ain't going to help you much. Sometimes in the end, being right and standing up for something that has no importance is just not worth it. Now, I'm not talking about standing up for the things that have significant importance. People's safety, human rights, things like that. They're worth standing up for. What kind of football play was made? Who's got a better call? Which coach said what right? Which team is better? Really? Is that all our lives have boiled down to, is arguing about the weather? So please take the time to rethink things. Like I said, go back, ask yourself when some of these situations you've been in, what was the real reason of my anger? And let me work on that. Was it I get embarrassed? Did I get frustrated and feel I'm not respected? Do I feel I'm being ignored? Do I feel people don't care about me? Do I feel just generally irritable today? Where is my anger really coming from? And then what can I do to work with it? And how can I imagine my way into a better scenario? I promise you, it works with athletes. They visually practice a shot, a golf putt, whatever, over and over in their mind, and they get better and better at it when they walk out on the course. And you can do the same thing with your life. Imagine a better outcome and practice it. Imagine one where there's lots of winners, not just you or the other person. And then put those things into play. And then realize when you're starting to get upset and get angry, walk away, calm down, take some water, take a deep breath. Actually ask the other person, can we talk about this later? It's to their benefit if they say yes. Even if they say no, that doesn't mean you have to talk about it right now. Okay? So let those bubble up in your head for a while. Again, thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much for your questions. And I hope y'all have a great day. And it's been nice talking to you. Namaste.